Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to give everybody just a minute to get logged in, and then we'll get started. Thanks, everyone. We're just waiting for people to trickle in here and get logged in. We'll be starting in just a moment. All right. Give everyone a second. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We are excited to be here to support your year-end giving efforts with real-world examples from nonprofit leaders. This webinar is jointly being brought to you by Jotform and our friends at Nonprofit Learning Lab. We're delighted to be working with them to bring you some insights on automation. If you're new to Jotform, welcome. Jotform offers a suite of no-code solutions designed to help organizations collect, share, and manage their data. It all starts with our incredibly powerful drag and drop form builder. Today, I'm joined by two of my colleagues. Morgan, our product education manager, will be monitoring questions in the chat, and Kat, our customer success manager, will be providing a little demo later on to show you the practical application of today's ideas. One final note, this webinar is being recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel for future reference, so let's get started. Here is a quick overview of today's topics. First, we'll be highlighting a few trends impacting the work of nonprofits. Then we'll discuss ways automation can help with real-life examples from the Arbor Day Foundation, Body Brave, YMCA Colombia, and United Way of Roanoke Valley. Then we'll have a quick demo to show these ideas in practice. And at the end, we'll highlight some resources for those of you who want to dig a little deeper. Finally, we'll wrap up with some Q&A. Let's dive in. According to a survey conducted by the Nonprofit Alliance, inflation, new donor acquisition, and donor retention pose the greatest threat to direct response fundraising. And the Fundraising Effectiveness Project recently highlighted trends in global philanthropy that showed a reduction in donors, amounts donated, and retention rates. To mitigate these threats to your mission and fundraising efforts, we're here today to highlight how automation can maximize your outreach to current and potential donors while minimizing the time you spend managing paperwork and administrative processes on the back end. The reach, function, and goals of nonprofits are vast. So today we're going to share several real-life examples from 4 very different nonprofits. Hopefully, some of these ideas can be readily adopted by your organization, and others can be adapted to suit your needs, leading to a strong year-end giving season. All right, there are many ways that automation can help. Automation can empower workers to create new and better solutions for processing campaign and donor information. Automation can streamline administrative workflows, freeing up time for more meaningful work. Automated reporting can uncover insights, enabling real-time adjustments to your campaigns. And automation can also be used to tailor messaging based on the inputs of your donors, volunteers, and staff. Finally, automation can also save you money on resource allocation and tech spend. So let's see how nonprofits are leveraging automation today. The Arbor Day Foundation has planted nearly 500 million trees in its 50-year history and is in a race to plant another 500 million in only 5 years. To do that takes a massive amount of coordination and data management. The team has more than 265 forms, all hosted on the Jotform Enterprise platform. Web designer Rachel created a single form boilerplate to their brand standards that staff can format to suit their needs with a simple drag and drop interface. This empowers staff, streamlines operations, and eliminates wait times and the strain on IT resources. Registrations for webinars, events, and their annual member summit are all run through Jotform, and payments are processed through an integration with Card Connect. One corporate tree planting partnership saw more than 250,000 submissions for tree plantings, and each one generated an automatic confirmation. Plus, online submissions mean everyone has access to the information they need in real time. Translating their liability and photo release forms was also automated using a translation tool in the form builder settings. This makes it possible for the same form to be used in multiple languages and to track every release in one data table. Body Brave is using Jotform Enterprise to address gaps in the eating disorder care system. Waitlists for accessing eating disorder treatment in Canada can be up to 2 years in certain provinces. Using online forms with conditional logic, Body Brave leads new and returning clients through a self-guided recovery support program and uses submission data to assess each respondent's risk level, provide appropriate recommendations, and remove barriers to care. Previously, the data they captured was exported from disparate systems, making analysis challenging. Using Jotform tables and reports, the team can visualize data in different ways and automate reporting by creating reports with a click. This has also enabled Body Brave to perform and publish much needed research. What's more, by carefully considering the features and functionality they need from a technology solution and looking holistically at their existing technology stack, Body Brave was able to significantly reduce costs and complexity, ultimately replacing 5 different technology providers with Jotform Enterprise. Juan Carlos is the bilingual and international area coordinator for YMCA Colombia, and he still remembers filling out paperwork to apply as a camp counselor. So he has a deep appreciation for how automation improves experiences for both staff and supporters of an organization. For their summer camp programs, instead of applicants mailing copies of their identification and signing paper forms, everything is funneled through an online form that allows them to upload any needed documentation and submit an e-signature. At the end of the program, YMCA Colombia uses Jotform approvals to automate camp certificates of participation with a survey that automatically sends out a PDF attachment of the certificate. If the form isn't filled out correctly, an email is sent indicating that edits need to be made. Vaccination status for in-person trainings is also processed with a similar automated approval workflow. United Way of Roanoke Valley serves a vast rural community and is on a mission to elevate 10,000 families to self-sufficiency by 2030. For their charity golf tournament, Becky Dudley built a single online form that accommodates both players and sponsors and also automatically sends an invoice for payment. To ensure staff are kept up to date on campaign progress, Becky uses a digest email report that's automatically sent with the various form submission data and reports to each team. She can choose the frequency of the email as well as the information displayed and change it on the fly as needed. They're also using online forms to process paperwork from the beneficiaries of donors designated 501c3 donations. The simple shift from fillable PDFs to online forms has improved turn times from 1 week to 1 day. So donor intentions are processed as quickly as possible. Ooh. Okay, trigger happy on the finger. All right, we wanted to take just a moment to demonstrate how these examples show up in practice. Plus, we have a brand new product designed specifically for our nonprofit fundraisers to share with you today. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Jotform's Customer Success Manager, Kat, to provide a quick demo. Thank you, Kat, and take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lainey. I'll start sharing my screen here. Hi, everybody. As aforementioned, I'm Kat, and I'm excited to be here. I'll be showing you a couple of different views today. We'll primarily be within our demo enterprise environment that you are looking at the screen now. So if you're already using Jotform Enterprise, or if you're a Jotform standard user, you might recognize some of what we're showing. We'll be working within a non-HIPAA environment today, but please note that Jotform Enterprise does offer dedicated HIPAA servers with SOC 2 compliance and GDPR compliant solutions. If you'd want more details on HIPAA environments and more, please don't hesitate to contact our team. Okay, so let's dive in. I already have a couple of forms pre-built within a team, the nonprofit heroes that we're going to be working with today. Keep in mind that Teams is a feature that is exclusively multi-user in an enterprise environment only, and that all of the assets within the team workspace, I've already got it queued up here, but we would just click into here to get into that team workspace. Anything that is created within this team will be owned by the team as an entity instead of the individual user. If you create and keep Jotform assets within the team, it's a really great way to ensure that even if the creator of the asset leaves the company and their user access is deleted, all formatting and data will be secure within that team. To that point, you'll also notice that our lovely host, Lainey, is the creator of most of these forms, apps, other assets. But due to the permissions that she's afforded me as a member of the team, I can also create, edit, and collaborate freely within this team. I can, of course, create individual forms within the My Forms dashboard that we saw earlier, but let's click back into that team to work in today. If you want to learn more about teams or create individual forms, we have some amazing videos and guides on our YouTube channel and website. So I have gone ahead and favorited some of the donation forms and other assets we're going to be working in today for easy access. I've already, of course, got the donation form queued up here, but I would just click Edit Form to get into the form builder. All right, let's click into the form builder here. So you'll notice that I have set a particular theme for this form. This image, theme, color scheme, and more can be customized to match your brand, and even the form the theme of the form itself can be totally customized. On an enterprise server as well, you can create certain theme templates for your form, and then you can save and share them among your server users only to ensure that your forms are always on brand and relevant to your cause. Of course, within the form builder, you can add as many basic elements as you'd like to collect the contact and other information that you require from your donors. We also have a myriad of widgets and that you can add to your form. For donation forms especially, our PDF Embedder widget and our Terms and Conditions widget, which is right here, are useful if you have, say, a static PDF of a donor agreement, or you need your donors to indicate agreement to certain terms and conditions. If we click into the Payments tab here, we'll notice that this form is already integrated with Stripe. Of course, we'll be utilizing it in test mode for this demonstration, but we do have 30 plus other payment integrations that you can utilize to collect your donations if you wish. With Jotform Enterprise as well, you don't have to worry about third-party fees, minimum payment amount requirements, or any kind of limitations on the number of payments that you can collect on your form. So let's click into payment settings. You'll notice that we have a couple of different options as it pertains to payment type. Now, this may change depending on the payment integration that you select, but from here we can directly indicate that we want to collect donations. So the integration will adjust to the payment type. We can decide if we want to suggest an amount, or if we want to, we can add in a field for our donors to select from, say, a preset donation amount. You see that I've got this single choice here. We can set the donations as our donation tiers, and within this field here, if we click into options, we do have the ability to assign calculation values. This is also going to be purported into a hidden form calculation widget, and then we can take that amount that the donor has selected, and we can automatically pre-fill it here. So you can see here, this is where that form calculation widget that the amount goes into, and that is going to be purported into the payment widget. We could also do this with a multiple choice field and a calculation field as well. As Lainey mentioned earlier, you can click into form settings here, and then if we click show more options, we can set our form to be available in multiple different languages. You can see we have a ton of different options here, but this is where you can select from multiple different options, including setting a form language and translation that can be selected on your form. Okay, so once we've got our form set up the way that we want to, and we're ready to collect donations, we can send it out to the world via our Publish tab here. With Jotform Enterprise, you can completely white label your server, so your link here can be connected to your domain to help communicate that authenticity and trust, or you could utilize one of our embed codes to embed the form into your website as well. If I click back into Quick Share, you'll see that we also do have the option to download a QR code, which is super handy, especially for physical marketing materials. Okay, so we've sent it out into the world, and let's say now that when any donation is approved, we have a tiered, or sorry, when any donation is received, it then needs to be approved. So what we would do is we would click into Settings, Approval Flows, and we would just click to edit or create a new approval flow. Of course, I already have one all queued up here, so we'll just hop into that. All right, so if I click into this approval flow, you'll notice I've already built out a multi-tiered approval. We can add in logic elements to send approvals based on a condition attached to a certain field, or we can simply have this submission sent to multiple recipients to approve or deny. We have some really great content spanning basic to more complicated approval flows on our YouTube channel and website if you want to take a look at the immense amount of what's possible with our approval canvas here. But for now, we have 3 different approval elements that go out to the form submission. We have an approve and sign element that will go out to Kat and another recipient. We have a single approval that will come from Kat. And then we also have an approval that will go out to all of the members of our current team, the Nonprofit Heroes team. We can set completion rules too. So we can say if we just want the response from majority, all one person, regardless of that rule, or sorry, according to that rule, that will help to move the flow along the way that we'd like it to. So once we've received all the approvals, we can send through an email to the donation respondent, or we can always send it to an internal email as well if we'd like, just letting them know that everything's been approved. And then once that email has been received, we can send out a signed document. This is just a sample donor agreement that needs to be sent out in this particular use case before the flow ends. And of course, once it's signed, the flow is going to end. Now that we've published our form, we've got our approval flow set up, we've received donations, we want to be able to check out and optimize our data. So we can click into our tables view, which we can do from any screen here, even on the form builder. We would just take this drop down and go into the tables option. Again, I've already got that queued up here. Let's click over into those submissions. So we can see the spreadsheet-like view of our donations. We can click into them for a more in-depth look, and we can download these submissions, let's say one by one if we want to, or in bulk. And we can do that in Excel, CSV, or PDF format for our internal records. You'll notice, and when I clicked into tables, I had that tab selected. I have this tab for the donation form all set up here. Now, this is a visual report to give us a visual representation of our form data. We can create this report at any time by clicking this Add Tab button here. We would select Report. We would select our form. Of course, we want this for this current donation form. And then we could choose to start from scratch or utilize one of the quick templates that we have available. This report can also be fully customized as per your organization's brand standards or presentation requirements. And you can customize the look and charting of each field, especially when it comes to, say, donation amount. If we want to dive more into the data, let's say that we received from our sample donor agreement signed document, you can see that we can see the status of the approval here, but we can also see that this one has been signed. We can also get into that within our sign inbox. So what we would do is we would just go back to our team workspace. And then we would be able to find our sample donor agreements. You can see here we have our donor agreement created here, and then we would just click sign inbox, or we can go into edit the actual agreement itself. I, of course, already have our sign inbox all queued up. So if I want to see all documents, I can go in here. If I wanted to see a completed document, I can go in here. Now, with Jotform Sign on Enterprise, you can set multiple recipients for signatures and send your documents to be signed by as many signatories as you need to. But as previously mentioned, if you do have certain compliance requirements, we do have HIPAA compliance server options with SOC 2 compliance. Through the sign-in blocks here, we can track the document's progress. So we can see that we have waiting for others here. We've sent this to Tina. She has not signed it yet. However, the ones that we have sent here, like to Nat or to Wayne, have been signed and the document status is completed. Now, we can also view the audit trail. So if we go back to Nat, Jotform sign, if we scroll down, will automatically create an audit trail for your documents. So you can see when and where the document was signed, right down to the IP address if you want to. Okay, before we go, I do want to get into another asset that can help streamline your donation process, which is Jotform apps. So if we just go back to my signed documents, or we can just go back to the team workspace itself, go to favorites, and today we're going to select the More Than Music app here. Jotform Apps is a no-code drag and drop web app builder designed to be mobile responsive for easy mobile access, and it can be especially useful for street teams or canvassers. We can create an app anytime in our team workspace, but Lainey has already gone ahead and created this awesome More Than Music app here. And you'll notice if we go back, actually, let's just take a quick return here. If I hover over the app I want to select, I have this option to click into donations. This app, again, if we click into it, has added the donation box within the builder to make it a lot easier to collect donations directly from the app. So this is what that looks like in the builder here. You see that we have a couple options and we can even change the style if we want to. This is a similar look to the form builder we saw previously. Of course, there are other options as it pertains to our app elements. And with our new Jotform app, donation app option, you can simply add in whatever you'd like within the donation box properties and then customize the look. As we mentioned before, you can also customize the look of the app itself. So when it's viewed on desktop, tablet, or mobile phone view, it'll look a little something like this. So this is something that it might look like on a common phone, tablet, and desktop here. If I go back, just like we would in the form builder, we would be able to navigate to our corroborating tables to view our donation data, or we could utilize our new email digest report for apps. So I'm just going to click back into the team workspace. And then you can see here that if I want to access this, I'm just going to hover over the app that I want that daily digest email for, select the more drop down, and then click digest email. If we already have one created, we can edit it or delete it from here. Or if we don't have one, we can create a new one here. The daily digest emails give us a quick daily, weekly, or other timeline if we choose a snapshot into what's been happening in regards to our submissions for this particular app. Okay, so I know that this was a lot of information and we've only just cracked the surface of Jotform Enterprise today. This was just a really quick peek into some of our features and assets. And if you'd like to take a look at what Enterprise might look like for your use case in particular, please don't hesitate to contact our team. I'll hand this back to you, Lainey.
Great. Thank you so much, Kat. Always learn so much from you and really appreciate you being here to give us those insights into how to use the product in practice. All right, so as promised, we do have a couple of resources for you today. If anybody is thinking about evaluating their tech stack or adopting new technology, I highly recommend you check out our white paper on nonprofit technology. Also gives some insight into ways you can use that to build trust and increase your impact. You can find it under the resources section of the Jotform Enterprise website. If you want to dig deeper into any of the nonprofit examples that we shared today, you can find all of their case studies on Jotform's blog. And then you can also browse Jotform's free form templates. We have over 100 of those geared specifically for nonprofits. So if you want to play around with some of the tools that Kat showed today, by all means, take advantage of that. And then finally, this webinar is going to be posted to our YouTube channel, which is YouTube/Jotform. If you've not subscribed, I highly recommend you do that so you can be notified of any future updates. Okay, at this point, I'd like to just check in with Morgan and see if we have any questions from the audience.
All right. Yeah. Well, great job, Lainey. Great job, Kat. Thank you. Yes, we do have a couple of questions. of course, the first one that came up was about where to find the recording after. So thank you for addressing that, Lainey. We have a number of other questions. There's a someone on the line who has a Jotform Silver subscription, and he says he understands that this presentation is geared toward enterprise subscriptions. But Kat, would you mind talking a little bit about any differences between enterprise and other Jotform subscriptions and some of the stuff that you showed today?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest, well, there's lots of differences, but one thing is, of course, we were working within Team Workspace, and you could see that it was within a multi-user environment. With a silver subscription, it's a single user account. With Jotform Enterprise, you have your own dedicated server. And then you can manage and add users there so they can go in and collaborate on the team specifically. And then with the actual form itself or the app, yeah, you can certainly do that. The only thing too is just with Jotform standard, just be cognizant of any limitations that might come along with your level of subscription. With Jotform Enterprise, as I mentioned before, basically everything is unlimited, including payment limitations that you can create. The number of apps, the number of forms that you can create is really unlimited within your own dedicated server environment on Enterprise. So that's just one thing to be cognizant of. However, the functionality should be very, very similar on jotform.com with a silver subscription, again, with the obvious exceptions here.
Yeah, and just to tag on to that, the excuse me, the donation apps that Kat showed, that is a new product that you can use across the board with any Jotform subscriptions. So if you are interested in learning more, a little selfish plug here for my own webinar next Tuesday, 11 a.m. Pacific. You can find more information about that and register at jotform.com/webinars. And I'll be giving a pretty comprehensive overview of donation apps there. Next question. Can you have multiple payment options like PayPal and Square and debit or credit card?
Yeah, so as we saw in the demo here, we did have that long list of payment integrations. We were using Stripe just in test mode for this demo here. And recurring payments right now is a feature request for the donation box. A free gift option could be added like as a checkbox with a custom field, or you could even integrate that into an approval workflow. And then those donors could be added to a list, or they could be sent an email with a code to receive their free gift. In regards to multiple payment options, it really depends on the integration. Sometimes Square will allow Google or Apple checkout, but it really depends on that integration. But across the board, we can only have one integration on one form. So there is a workaround to that. You can have somebody select their payment type or whatever payment they prefer, and then they can be automatically directed to a form with that payment integration.
Great, thank you. Next question, how do I manage this alongside other fundraising platforms and our CRM?
Well, I can take that one. So Jotform has 26 CRM integrations, as well as integrations with Zapier project management software. And we have a really, really robust open API architecture. And then enterprise customers have a dedicated support team to answer any specific questions or needs you may have. But there are a ton of, as has been mentioned throughout the webinar, there are a ton of resources on our YouTube channel and on our website. So pretty much anybody that's looking for information, if you can Google it, you can find it.
Great. A related question, maybe diving in a little bit more deeply. Does Jotform integrate with donor databases like Razor's Edge and Bloomerang, or is this more meant to take the place of a donor database?
So I could take that one as well. I'm not super familiar with those integrations, but this is to collect that information, and you can certainly have that information within the tables view that we saw. But for that, it would just really depend on kind of your organization, what your internal policies are in regards to managing, keeping, being able to view and organize that data. So I understand what you're saying with the donor's profile. This is more based on a per form basis, but we do have filtration where you can actually go in and see all of the submissions of a certain person. But this one here is more geared towards being able to collect all of that information in bulk and seeing it on a per form basis. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that as well.
I don't think so. There was another question, again, related to that. Is there a profiles or contacts area where we can view based on the individual instead of based on campaign or form? So Kat, I think you just spoke to that a bit, but can you kind of summarize that as well?
Yeah, so I can understand what you're saying in regards to some of the CRM things where you have the contact area and then you can see everything that they've done as a contact. We have that in regards to users. We are able to see that, but those are who are logging into your server and not necessarily filling out the forms. For those who are going to be filling out the forms, it is based on a per form basis. We do also have within enterprise only a way to be able to track the activity or the submission for somebody based on their email. But as of right now, we don't have like a dedicated contacts section where you can see it on a per respondent basis. It is more of a per form basis.
All right, thank you. Switching gears a bit, what is the easiest way to auto-populate specific donation amounts within forms?
Yeah, so you could use Jotform prefill, also the data from tables as well. We also have a widget that's called the spreadsheet to form widget. We have URL parameters that can help to pass data from one form to the other, or even just pre-populate it within one particular form. We've got some really great conditional logic that you can apply on the form to pre-fill it. There's a lot that you can do to auto-populate, so it really depend on your use case and what you're looking to do, but we have a lot of different tools and resources to be able to do that.
Well, thank you. There's a couple other questions about automation. How do you create automations related to appointments or charging money in integrations like follow-up emails, sending forms, and the like?
Okay, I'm happy to take that one. So Jotform has an appointment scheduler element that's within the form builder. You saw that over on the left-hand side. That was just a drag drop into your form. We also have some pre-built scheduling templates you can use. You can use those to customize and limit the days or the times or the durations for those appointments. You can also use this to block out dates and times for vacation, at lunch hour, whatever have you. We also have a direct integration with Calendly. And as mentioned, we have several payment integrations as well. So those are a couple of different ways you can, again, you can Google that and I think you'll find it pretty readily, both videos and examples of that.
Great. Another integration question related to WhatsApp. What methods do you recommend to register interested people and automatically convert them to contacts in WhatsApp?
For that, we don't have a direct integration with WhatsApp right now. We do have a WhatsApp button widget that you can add to your form. So your respondents can go in and they can chat with you directly from the form, or they can send through a chat request. It would really depend on WhatsApp or how you're importing contacts into WhatsApp. With that, we have a myriad of other integrations that you could utilize. Let's say that you want your contacts to come in spreadsheet form and you want it in Google Sheets, and then you can go in and you can download it. You can also do that with tables. You can download it in Excel or a CSV format and upload it to WhatsApp. If you want it to be automatic, there may be a way to do that through third-party connectors like, say, Zapier, or we do also have really robust capabilities. It really just depends on the receiving powers of the endpoint. In this case, would be WhatsApp. So there are lots of things to look into in terms of integrations. It really just depends on where you are going to be storing that information, how you're going to be downloading it, and then how you want to import it into WhatsApp.
Great. Here's a question about payment platforms, another payment platform integration. Do you have recommendations for platforms for nonprofits that don't take a percentage of donor payments?
So I can take that one. I think Kat mentioned this during the webinar, but Jotform in particular does not take any additional fees for integrations, but I really think it kind of would depend on what your nonprofit needed. So I would take a look at, the particular capabilities or limits, what have you, for your specific organization. And then there's lots of different review sites and integrations available. So anything to add to that, Kat?
No, that's awesome as well. Yeah, perfect.
Great. All right, I think we just have one more question. Do you have recommendations of ways to create custom giving or supporting membership donations for yearly automated giving, and how to connect that with Excel so that can be continually updated?
Yeah, so you can, as we saw in the demo today, you can use that donation box with Jotform apps, and you can enable custom amounts if you want to. You could also create a form to send out regularly with a campaign email embedded in your website. And then your contacts could then flow to the Jotform table. And as I mentioned, you can bulk download, you can individually download that submission information in Excel or CSV or PDF format. Again, you can also go ahead. We do have a Power Automate third-party connector integration for our forms. So that could go through to Excel. If you have Excel online, there could be an API workaround. But also, we do directly connect with Google Sheets and Google Drive. So if you want to populate a spreadsheet even outside of Jotform tables that you can share on a wider basis, then you could certainly do that and integrate there. So there's lots of different options for that.
Awesome. Well, that is the end, I believe, of all of the questions. So Lainey, I'm going to throw it back to you to close us out.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. And thank you, Morgan, for helping us get through all those questions. I really hope everybody's inspired by at least one of those stories we shared here today. And we really look forward to seeing you at one of our upcoming webinars. So hope to see you.